In this video, I'm going to show you how to solve the homework problem nasty number. Because of the length of the video, I'm going to do it in 2 or 3 parts, depending on how long each part is going to take. So the first part, we are going to design the screen as it's shown here. You will have a horizontal layout. In the layout, drag and drop a label. Just type the text, enter a number, then drag and drop a text box beside it. Change the name of the text box to number underscore text, and then also add a button. Change the text on the button to check as shown here, and also rename the button to check underscore btn. The last thing we're going to add is we are going to add a notifier, which is a hidden component. After we do all these, we're going to start writing the code. So start the coding. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to introduce a couple of variables. The first one, I'm going to introduce a variable. I'm going to call it just a nasty. Now, this variable is going to be a Boolean variable. It's either true or false. Initially, I set the value to false. This is the variable at the end. I'm going to use the content of the variable and display it to the user. Either the number is nasty or the number is not nasty. So at the moment, the initialization is false. The next global variable I'm going to introduce is called factors. This is going to be a list which is going to contain all the factors of the number. For instance, number 6, the factors are 1, 2, 3, and 6. Just the factors. And initially, I'm going to set to be an empty list. And the last variable I'm going to create is called pairs. Again, this is going to be a list of pairs of factors. For instance, if we look at number 6, our list factors is going to end up having these numbers 1, 2, 3, 6. So it's going to have 4 elements, and element 1 is 1, element 2 is 2, element 3 is 3, and element 4 is 6. Now, our pairs list is going to have content like this one. Element 1 is going to have 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 6, 2, 3, 2, 6, 3, 6, which is all shown here. So remember, the factors list is going to have all the factors, and the pairs list is going to have all the possible combination of all these factors, separated with comma. So the first thing I'm going to create, as I said when in the class, that when you are solving a problem, try to break it down into smaller pieces, into smaller blocks. Instead of trying to attack the problem, right away, like this problem, you will see it is better to break it down into smaller pieces, test each piece one at a time, and then by the end, you will see that all these pieces, when you put them together, is going to give you the correct solution. The first thing I want to do is just to populate the factors list with all the factors of the number that the user enters. So I'm going to introduce a new procedure, the procedure is not going to return anything. It's going to populate the factor list with all the factors of the number. So I'm going to pick this one and I'm going to call this set underscore factors. So whenever I call this procedure, it's going to put all the factors of the number in this list. So the first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to make sure whenever I call this procedure, the factor list is going to be empty. So I'm going to make it create empty list. Now I'm going to go through a loop of 1 to the number the user enters and see which of these numbers are going to be a factor. So I need a control, and I'm going to say for each number from 1 to, but this one is really the number that the user enters. So I'm going to take this one, change this one to text, and put it here. So for each one of these numbers, I'm going to see if my original number, which was number text, is divisible by this number. So I'm going to need an if condition here. So I'm going to say if, I'm going to go to math, and I'm going to take the block which says module. I'm going to take the modulo. I'm going to take I'm going to check the remainder of the division. If it's 0, then I know it's a divisor. So I'm going to say if this one is equal to, so I need an equal sign here. If modulo of number.text divided by this number is equal to 0. So I'm going to go and get one of these zeros, and you can see that this line is getting too long, so I'm going to make it external. So I'm going to say if this is true, then I know that this number is one of the factors. So I'm going to add it to my factors list. So I'm going to go to list, then I'm going to pick the add block. So I'm going to set add. What list am I going to add it? I'm going to add it to the factors list. So I'm going to take this one, and what item? I'm going to add the number. Now this one is going to populate my factors list with all the factors which are here, which in this case is the number, and then return to me the factor list. Now again, when you write the program, make sure you check each part of the code individually. So I'm going to check this one. To check this one, I'm going to go to check button when click. So the first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to call the set factors. So I'm going to call set factors. And then I want to check to see what is the return here. So I'm going to use the notifier. And I'm going to go and I'm going to show the content of the list factors. To do that one, I'm going to go here, get factors. This is my message. The title, I'm going to change the title to nasty numbers, and I'm going to change this one to OK. So as soon as I hit the check button, I click on it, it's going to call the set factors. The set factors is very simple. It's going to start setting factors list to empty. Then it's going to start from number 1 to number that the user enters, and it goes in an increment of 1, and then it checks to see if the number that the user enters divided by this index number is equal to 0, then it means that the number that the user enters is divisible by this number. So it's going to be a factor, and then I'm going to add it to my factor list. When I am done here, when I return to here, I'm going to use the notifier and I'm going to show it on this screen so I can see if everything is okay. So now I've already started my emulator and I'm going to check it. So I'm going to go to emulator. So I start my emulator and I'm going to type 6 and I'm doing, then click check. You can see that the numbers are 1, 2, 3, 6, which is correct. Let's check 24. The numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, 24, which is correct. So this means that our procedure set factors work.